And greetings everyone for today's triple screen video. This time we have a Project Cars 2. I'm sorry for the bad quality for the settings and in general for this video, but unfortunately I cannot do anything about it. Because this is a triple screen setup, so it's basically almost impossible to record. And as you can see from the settings, almost everything is maxed out, at least all quality settings are at max setting, but I didn't use MSA, I used SMA low instead. Because with MSA my FPS was a little bit too low, but the advantage of 4K resolution, especially triple 4K resolution, is that you can go easy on anti-aliasing methods. Now the reason why I chose Project Cars 2 instead of Automobilista 2 was to check how different they are, because Automobilista 2 is based on the same game engine and I just wanted to feel if there is any similarities between them. So this time it's Project Cars 2. Unfortunately, this game and the first one, the Project Cars 1, is not sold anymore anywhere because of expired license, but you can still get it in other means by buying physical copies or getting cracked versions. But I think using cracked versions you cannot use it online, but I'm not sure about that because I have Steam version. So maybe it was a little bit my mistake, but I only tested against AI. I didn't test online. I kinda forgot about it, so that's on me, unfortunately. And for the most part, I used maximum amount of AI possible. So for 2 races I used with 29 AI, and the one race with the rain I could use only 21 AI count. Now, when this game was possible to buy, it was my recommendation for the most people who want to get into sim racing. And while the most purists said that the Project Cars 2 is not a simulator, I don't really agree with them. Sure, it's not the best simulator, but still is. And while I can definitely say that it implies many real racing techniques, it still has some problems with physics. So the biggest issue with Project Cars 2, in my opinion, is the AI and ABS physics. So the biggest problem with AI is that it doesn't have the same physics as your car, so they can make impossible turns, and that is really deal breaker if anyone is serious on AI racing in sim racing environment. So yeah, it serves its purpose on the basic level, but if you really want good AI racing, this is not the game you want to try. And the ABS is really poor because it doesn't correspond and doesn't work like in the real car. If I remember correctly, it has 3 options, and that is off, high and low. And that is not how, for example, GT3 cars have. So real GT3 cars, for example, have 10 settings for ABS, and it works completely different than in this game. For example, if you have even medium setting ABS, you can just press your brake pedal all the way down at first and then bleed down and release slightly when you're going into the corner, and that's called trail braking. So in Project Cars 2 it's very difficult to perform, and without ABS it's almost impossible, I could say, for some cars. But yeah, it's really weird. It might be due to bad setup, but it's still, considering that this game should be to the more casual audience, I think the out of the box, if you can call that, setups should be almost perfect, and that's not the case, unfortunately. So the ABS is poor, the AI is also bad, at least in my opinion. So what's good in this? Well, the graphics and the performance is actually very good. Also the weather is very well done as well, and the day and night transition is very well made. And the last thing that I wanted to touch in this video is the force feedback. In settings it has several options for effects, and I'm currently using raw, I think, setting, and it's the best in my opinion. And while it serves its purpose, it's pretty good most of the time, but sometimes it can feel a little bit vague, especially at braking sections. So it's sometimes hard to feel the weight transfer. And while it is very advanced aspect of force feedback, it's very important for serious sim racing. So overall, I think this game was, at least used to be, one of the best introductions into sim racing, but since you cannot buy it, I think the Assetto Corsa 1 takes this place now. Unless of course you are willing to get cracked version, but yeah. I think getting Assetto Corsa 1 is going to be a better choice. So yeah, I'm leaving you with the gameplay. As you can see on the left side, all the performance metrics. In general it hits 60 FPS, but in some areas and at certain times, especially at sunsets where the shadows are the longest, the performance is the worst in those cases. So yeah, this game is quite impressive graphically, and it runs relatively well. So yeah, I'm leaving you with the gameplay. As always, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.